about me. I was born in Converse, and I lived in Illinois for a little while. And then I grew up in Flower Mound pretty much, which is like a suburb of Dallas, part of like Denton County. So I know a lot of people that went to UNT and stuff like that. Let's see. And then I've always painted since I was a kid up until like high school, and I worked with a lot of color before. I did like skateboard deck commissions, and like I painted lamps and had like really vibrant colors and stuff like that. And then whenever I graduated high school, I was working in commercial real estate development for a while with like one pinky toe in the art world, kind of just not really making any work, and I didn't realize how stagnant I was in my practice until I did this like little outside art fair, and I sold a bunch of work and got really good feedback from that. And so then that led to me doing like Art Expo and the other art fair and stuff like that, where I was able to sell a lot of work. And I decided, instead of like cramming for like 2 months before a show, that I should just be making art all the time. So that's when I was looking up like studio spaces, and I was like fully expecting to pay like $400 a month for a studio, and then Cedars Union came up, and Matt toured me, and I've been with Cedars Union for a couple years since then, and that's me, of course. And I kind of like made that like my little studio for a while, which probably annoyed some people, sorry. And I was like always there, always. But yeah, I've kind of kept that momentum since then, of just like almost every day, like coming to the studio, making work. And that's been like 2 years or so that I've been doing that. Next slide. And then a little bit about my work. I've been kind of dying to have a chance to talk about it, because I feel like the last time I've talked about it publicly, I had a totally different like idea of it. So I call it New Baroque Expressionism, and that's a working title. I feel like it's evolved very rapidly, and like month to month it just changes, like my idea of it. And I last actually talked to Jose about it, and I feel like confident with my description of like my work. But pretty much what I had told him was, you know, when I was first started painting, I kind of was obsessed with this. I feel like a lot of artists go into this like whole of like having an original thought and not kind of straying from like realism and stuff like that. So that like kind of brought me down for a while, and like had me stuck in this like loophole of just like kind of trying to make really abstract stuff, even though I was very familiar with like figurative work and stuff like that. So the point that I'm at now is kind of combining the two, and I use a lot of color and a lot of depth and like kind of messy like confident strokes with figurative work, which is why I call it Baroque Expressionism, because I have kind of a Baroque composition, and I use abstract expressionism to like evoke emotion in my work. Let's see. Whenever I was like kind of started at the Cedars Union and I was working on like newer, bigger pieces, I was really drawn to a specific style. Like I would have an idea in my head of how I wanted something to turn out, and then it would turn out totally different. And so I kind of just leaned into that, and I realized like a very cohesive style in my work, and that kind of tied back to my background, which is that I grew up in like a Mexican Catholic household. So a lot of I have like a lot of ecclesiastical like influence in my work and Catholic iconography. I kind of delved into that in one of my collections in like 2023 that I had sold in the other art fair before I started at the Cedars Union, or no, this was after the Cedars Union. And I didn't really, I guess I wanted to use that as more of like a tone to build my work on. So like I think if anyone grew up Catholic, you might be like familiar with the like residual Catholic guilt and like shame and stuff like that, and or just like the way that you see the world. Like I feel like with any religion or any like upbringing, those things like stay with you and mold your view of the world and all of that. And I kind of just started to accept that and embrace the like aesthetics, because that's a part of me, and that's kind of how I see the world, is through the like moral lens that I was, you know, brought up as. And I want to kind of work with, like, I feel like there's a lot of rich is that already time? Wow. I feel like there's a lot of dialogue that I can go into in that, especially growing up in like a multicultural household, and how kind of a lot of Baroque work is, you know, there's like Mexican Baroque work, which is a combination of both European and like Mexican work after Reformation. And so that's me, literally, is like European indigenous Mexican. And so I thought that that would be an interesting kind of concept to lean into and get into, you know, different themes of, well, like through theology and like its relationship with identity and power, like, and, you know, politics, and then femininity, and then just like general, your general like relationship and experience with spiritualism. So let's move to the next one. My recent projects I'm working on, this is my collection that I made for 400H Gallery, which was in December, and it's a really small collection. This is actually probably life size on the TV, but and I was at Arts Fort Worth with the last cohort as like a community member. I did a Claire Hart, I got the Claire Hart de Guillier grant, so I was able to give like a talk at the DMA, which was really cool, and that's the talk that I'm referring to that I'm like, I cringe at myself now of what I said. I know, I'm working on it, okay. And then, anyway, yeah, I did a lot of cool stuff. Anyway, right now I am working part-time as an apprentice for But I'm also working on a commission for Messina Hoff and publication with a really small publication company. And yeah, that's what I'm up to, and that's me, so. Time went by so fast, that was crazy. Oh, questions, oh my gosh, yeah. I sit in the chair. Yeah.
Why haven't you told me about the Messina Hoff wine list?
Because it was like up in the air, and I didn't decide that I was gonna do it until like, I am doing it. That's what's in my studio right now. I'm cranking it out, I have like 10 days.
Send me the info.
Okay, we'll do. I know you guys have questions. No questions? Cool. Thanks.
I started doing like self-portraits.
So, and the thing dinner parties, those little ghosts or those blobs, and
Ito in the art world, kind of outlined in the red, and I started.
If you do, please comparison.
You do these things so you feel a connection to the person.
Like I said, I came from Nicaragua when I was a couple of years. And I'm gonna read like what I wrote here, as a lot of my colleagues are. All right, well,
so my goal for Cedars Union, not respond, but you can follow me if you want.
so here's a little bit about what I've published in the past.
We were talking about this the other time. Yeah, I would love to.
It looks much smoother on my screen.